Not because I suffer fast, not because I pray and fast. No be your show, no be that. I'm watching. Daily bossinachi, I'm no qua bossinachi. One money bossinachi, I'm watching. Daily bossinachi, mama bossinachi.
Oh, down. He's a cross.
Not because I suffer fast, not because I pray and fast. No be your show, no be that. I'm watching. Daily bossinachi, I'm no qua bossinachi. One money bossinachi, I'm watching. Daily bossinachi, mama bossinachi.
So you go find them.
So it's 9:19 already, so we have
I'm giving you this.
we have 4 minutes behind. And so you can sit here. So you can sit here. Yes.
What's the name is not fabulous? I'm doing
So the room is-
Yes, I have the one of the dish. Two of us. It's always. So what's the interest? I just call it. No, very good. Very good. Now it's coming at the pastor. That's nice. That's good. She's not hard to see in that. She's very good. That's a simple one. She needs a floor. So I didn't put the driver. Yeah, it's very something. That's it. Let me give you that. Yes. Then the first knowledge. Yes.
Oh, yeah, we have to get them started.
The culture.
So
That's I tried to not there. Really?
so should be returning on funds. Okay.
Is that the funny?
Yes, I also she's gonna
I think she had to see.
shut them. Yeah.
She doesn't know that. She's really sweet nonsense. So it's so good. You're good with it. And my sister says, yeah, maybe it's.
Good morning.
So now can you please sit here? So the camera is coming easier to.
Where?
Yeah. See, this is for panelists.
Oh, let's welcome everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Teaching by Design Panel Part 5. Right, this is the last session for 2025. While we look forward to having more panels next year, we also look forward to having more chairs and more interrogative scholarly articles and presentations. Thank you, Dr. Etinda Alabedi, for being a very wonderful partner on this journey. You made the job seamless. God bless you. So we have 3 panelists on our list today. The first presenter is Sutura and John Adeni from the University of Lagos. Adult Education and Out-of-School Incidents in Shomolu Local Government of Lagos State. The second person presenting on my humble self, Entrepreneurship Education Nigeria University, role of ChatGPT and AI tools in personalized learning and mentorship. Paula Mountain. While the third last but not the least is knowledge management and performance, study of selected hospitality firms in Geneva, Metropolis by Ella of Catherine Idolo. Please, if you have the citations, can you read?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody, and thanks
Thank
for
you,
coming
madam.
to our panel. I am unsure we have Moturaya Ajoke's citation, but I do have Dr. Amao Taiwo and Dr. Edolo's bio. Would you want me to go ahead? So I will read it.
So
I'll read the two that I have, if that is okay.
Yes, yes. Oh, it's just that yes, so go ahead, ma'am.
I can go ahead. Okay. Dr. Bukola Amao Taiwo is a certified academic developer, entrepreneurship educator, and researcher at the University of Lagos, holding a PhD in crafting inclusive, student-centered learning experiences, and has led innovative youth and faculty capacity building programs using design thinking methodologies. She also serves as a monitoring and evaluation consultant for UNESCO and other organizations, supporting impactful education and development initiatives across Africa. She loves teaching children art and entrepreneurship at her leisure time. Then Dr. Elok Catherine Idolo is a faculty member of the Entrepreneurship and Skills Development Center with a PhD in management. Her research focuses on management, SMEs competitiveness, knowledge management, and international entrepreneurship. She loves cooking, listening to music, and reading. Thank you and welcome our panelists today. So do we have two panelists on seat two, from what I'm seeing, or three?
We have three.
Please, let's read the bio of the third person. I'm sorry, I don't have it.
Oh, I don't have it either, so you can go on. This is on the group, and it's not there. Please, you can go on, ma'am.
Yeah. So we can have the first presenter then present their work. That is, if Moturayo Adeosun can do their presentation. But I'm thinking this person is represented by John Adeniyi, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Please, Dr. John Adeniyi, could you please just introduce yourself briefly before you start your presentation so people will be aware of who you are, if that is okay?
Okay, so good morning,
Thank you so much. Yeah. So each presentation will be 10 to 12 minutes. And at the end of all presentation, that is when we are going to have the question and answer session. I believe people in the room will be able to give you signal when you need to stop, since you may not be able to see me fully here. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. John.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Thank you, Chair. My name is Wala John Ajay, and I'm another education facilitator. So I have an experience of facilitating adults for about 5 years, from 5 years from now. So what I do basically is with mental adults, teach them, help them in learning. So that is the skill myself. So I'll be talking on this topic, assessing the role of adult education in reducing out of school incidents. We are aware that there's a lot of school dropouts in Nigeria, even globally. UNESCO 2030 statistics highlighted 13.5 million out of school children, whereby we have 65 million illiterates. All this still falls back to out of school syndrome. We also have to understand that adult education does not really based on literacy alone. There's so many things that adult education can do. This is why we are written our project in looking into the ways why adult education can reduce out of school incidents. According to global phenomenon, out of school students rate we're looking into. For US, for example, we have 10.3% out of school. Germany, we have the highest number of out of school dropouts, which is 90%. Then we try to look at the regional disparities in out of school dropout rates. Next slide. We compare the southeastern states of Nigeria, which is Abia State, Ebonyi State, Imo State, and Imo State. In Abia State, we have an average of 58% of out of school dropouts. In Ebonyi, we have 61%. In Imo State, we have 61%, and Enugu having the top share of 71% out of school dropout. Then we try to relate our projects in ways whereby unemployment interplay with school dropouts. Because when you see that there's a large number of unemployment in Nigeria as of today. So what are the causes? How does out of school mitigate? How does it marry unemployment? We look into it, going through the chart of NBS, that's Nigeria Bureau of Statistics. As of 2014, we have unemployment rate of 7.8%. As of 2015, we have about 9.9%, and 2016, we have first quarter of 2016, we have 12.1%. Then going to the third quarter of 2016, we have 13.3%. So we try to understand that out of school can affect unemployment rates, because unemployment rate also can affect out of school. So the two actually are working in line, because when there are students who are dropping out of school, then it is certain that they cannot get job, they cannot get a white collar job. So this out of school dropout interplay with unemployment. We look at the socio-economic impact of literacy and unemployment. Examples are unemployment crisis, poverty cycle, social unrest. For example, unemployment rate is about 50% among Nigerians economically. Looking at the active population of Nigeria, about 80% of youth under the age of 35 are either unemployed or underemployed. This rate discourages school age from continued education, because when I go to school, I am done with my education and I see that I should not get a good job. Then people who are in school might be discouraged and it look like, oh, I have somebody who has gone to school and look at him for 5 years. Even if he's a first class student, he has not been able to get a good paying job. Some are even underpaid. Some just get job and try to manage the job and say, okay, let me just take this one because people are out there saying I don't have a job and I'm a school graduate. So all these things still falls back to the rate of school dropout. We have poverty cycle. We have some families that cannot provide for their students to go to school. They cannot fund their school, their children education. We have social unrest, challenges such as insurgency, corruption, and so on and so forth, plays a vital role in out-of-school dropout. We have the persistent challenges of out-of-school children in Nigeria. Number one is poverty and economic constraint. We have lack of infrastructure. We have culture and social belief. Culture and social belief, for example, traditional practice, early marriage, gender bias. Some families will tell you it is only a male child that can go to school. The female child stays at home to help their parents in the market. While some families will tell you it is only the first son that can go to school. So when the first son is done, he's a graduate, then he can come and care for the family. This thing falls back because at the long run, when you notice that this first son might actually go to school and even graduate and still do not come back home to take care of the family, we might have some other responsibilities to take care of. Lack of infrastructure, insufficient school building, or overcrowded classroom. Just like one of our presenter was saying at the panel yesterday, we have students that she has a class of about 75 students or more than, and they still have to contain a little class space. So all these things fall back to out of school dropout, because students might be discouraged to go to school when the infrastructure there are bad. They don't have good teaching equipment. They don't have chairs to sit. Poverty and economic constraints. Some families cannot afford to pay for their students, their children education. Contributing factors to educational disruption, conflict and insecurity, poor academic performance, family responsibility. In region affected with insurgency, unrest, school dropout are targeted, because when people drop out from school, for example, let me use the word politician. They go for this set of individuals because what they now do is to give them a token. They might decide to buy them by saying, okay, if you work for me, I will pay you so amount. And this is one of the problems we're facing with school dropouts.
We have poor academic performance. Students who feel like they cannot perform academically well might decide or might feel like dropping out of class. Family responsibility sometimes families will play a very long role in controlling the effect of out of school dropouts in our country. Media influence and policy and policy and awareness. We are looking at the rate at which media first influence the policy and the awareness of out of school dropout, highlighting disparities, promoting accountability, shaping public opinion, influencing policy dialogue. But let me try to explain the promoting accountability. When we see that the sector that are in charge of education, they are not carrying the work very well. They are not doing what they're expected to do. Promoting accountability, for example, media can decide to call on the agencies in charge of this education and ask questions. So thereby trying to caution them, trying to checkmate them to look at what effects have they been, at what percentage have they been able to promote accountability in that aspect, because every year we have budget for education. But what percentage are this budget being used to fund education? We have barriers of effective adult education. Despite immense potential, adult education in Shomoni local government has faced a very, very big problem. You can take to the slide level. Low public awareness, because, for example, adults who are out of school, who drop out of school, for example, might not even know that there is an opportunity for them to return back to class. For example, adult learning. There is no public awareness, there is no enough sensitization, there is no public announcement. So some people that even want to go to the school, they don't get to know that a program is going on that can educate them, that can help them and enrich their knowledge. Insufficient recognition. Further education system, lack of priority funding and as it is lack of policy support, inadequate policy framework and legislative backing in the integration and expansion of adult education initiative. We have challenges faced by adult learners in Nigeria: distance and accessibility, financial constraints, societal and cultural barriers, policy and qualitative deficiency. Distance and accessibility, for example, as an adult learner, you might find out that your location is far from where the adult education program is taking place. For example, when I was interrogating one of the adults who have dropped out of school, she said adult education centers are not around Shomoni. The ones that they have are not even functioning anymore. So it is very difficult for her to locate the ones that are there. So I was trying to encourage her how can she go to Yaba? She said it's easy for her because most times she goes to work. By the time she's done with her work, she doesn't want to go far because she has other business to take care of, other home to take care of, and so on. We have financial constraints, so people cannot pay for the fee to go to the adult education center. So most of them are actually looking for the ones that are funded, maybe from churches, from mosques, and so on and so forth. Without wasting much of our time, I will move to understanding and addressing social dropout factor, age and their reputation, social economic challenges, behavioral issues, family and policy gaps. Let's do start and starting over. For example, when 2 minutes more. So when there is age limit, some people do not want to go back to school. They feel like I don't want to go and sit down with my age mates. We have impact of school dropouts in the society. Economic losses, reducing political participation, increase and so on and so forth. The research design is descriptive design, quantitative design, and interview approach. Then define the population we cited 2020 responded from each CDA, that's a community development association under Shomoni local government for this research. Data collection, instrument for data collection, previous questionnaire, interview, and so on. Then I want to go to discussion of finding and the recommendation. Empowering Nigeria, the transformative goal of adult education in the Shomoni local government. We can see that in Shomoni local government, the only way we can encourage adults to go back to school is by giving them reasons why they need to go to school. If there are no reasons, then adults do not consider. Like one of
The network was, I don't know, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, it was going back and forth. Thank you so much for the presenter. I think since we are keeping everything till the end, I would like to invite Dr. Amao Taiwo for our presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Really nice having to sit as a presenter. My name is Bukola Amao Taiwo of the Entrepreneurship and Skill Development Center. I'll be presenting my opinion paper of prescriptive approach titled Transforming Entrepreneurship Education in Nigeria Universities, the role of ChatGPT and AI tools in personalized learning and mentorship. Please help me show them the slide because I want to talk to you. So, I love to use pictures for these my slides, and I didn't want it to be too worded, but then it was tough getting my thoughts together to use pictures. I used an approach that I call traffic light approach. And the traffic light approach, as I explained, the next slide. The traffic light approach. In the traffic light approach, as I introduce concepts or define concepts, red means theory. It means what we already know. And the story in yellow. When you see yellow in the traffic light, what does it mean? Get ready to move. What moves, and then the green is the impact we want to make. So I try to redefine what we should term as education. And we were saying that education is applying theoretical knowledge in real world context. After so much research, people came up with different theories that makes Miriam and Caffarella to summarize that education develops practical ability to solve real-world challenges. And the key word is about real-world challenges. What it means is that for someone to claim to be educated, he should be able to be a solution provider. And solutions are not necessarily big things. The big solutions we have out there usually start as small thoughts. So I like to say that we can say educated people are thinkers, critical thinkers, who are able to synthesize, analyze, critique, and improve on issues, improve on way of life of people. So in my first story, Ada, an engineering student, learns the story of sustainable energy. How does Ada show that she's educated? She developed a low-cost solar-powered water pump for rural communities, meaning that is where it is needed. And how did she show and make it show that the education she had is impactful? By turning her academic knowledge into practical solutions that solve real-world challenges. I hope you understand my green, yellow, red concept now, because you see it for a long time. So, in defining what entrepreneurship is, in Nigeria, since 2007, when entrepreneurship has become a concept that is has been formally backed by policy, especially in higher education. There's been a misconception about what entrepreneurship means. So if I ask people what entrepreneurship means now, I'm likely to get definitions that relate to skills development. It's someone being able to demonstrate the competencies in a specific area or discipline. And this is actually backed by Pope's learning theory. And I'm using it as a precedent for this, my definition of entrepreneurship. Pope said that learning is a process, yes, and knowledge is created by transformation of experiences. According to this theory, learning involves four stages: concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. We're going to somewhere, and we're going to talk about the school of Adebayo, who started delivery service for students in Lagos. If you look at the key word there, there's a word there, need. Before he started the business, someone needs it. Someone needs affordable groceries. So when we're defining entrepreneurship, we need to look into, is it somebody that sees others making money from beads, from catering, and says, let me also do it to make money? That's why we can't define entrepreneurship the same way as we define skills or buying and selling. As an entrepreneur, you must meet a need. We'll talk about that more. In Aga's case, she transitioned from abstract conceptualization of ideas in the classroom and moved into active experimentation, which entails applying the theory into delivering, there's a mix up here in my yellow. Applying the theory into delivering groceries for people who need them. So the top keyword in my paper is mentorship. According to Vygotsky, Zone of Proximal Development, he emphasizes that mentorship helps learners to perform tasks just beyond their current abilities and providing the necessary guidance and support and opportunities. And then this brings us the story of Amaka, a language student who loves writing. But then as a language student, who is our student who loves writing, she needs a lot of mentorship from her lecturer to ensure that she's able to convert her language skills into entrepreneurship. And what did the lecturer do? Because the lecturer is an expert himself in applied linguistics, who is also entrepreneurial, and that brings a case for having entrepreneurial lecturers, because it's very difficult to mentor one entrepreneurially if you are also not having that thought and able to act entrepreneurially. He takes on a hand-on approach to mentor her. Instead of just focusing on grammar and theory, what we learn in class, he introduces her to the world of translation services. That is, people that need her service. I know Dr. Yesina will be doing lots of translation services because it's a market for people in language, helping her understand the business side of language. The lecturer connects her with potential clients as part of the hand-holding, which is required for mentorship, and teaches her how to pitch her services. He not only hands her over to someone who can be of help, who can support, who can pay for her services, he also follows her through to see how she's doing in her negotiation, in her relationship, in her communication with the client. And with this client, Amaka was able to launch a translation business using her linguistic skills to bridge cultural gaps while gaining practical experience in the industry. With this story, I've helped you to understand what real mentorship is: hand-holding, supporting, scaffolding, and stuff like that. So it is guiding students through their entrepreneurial journey. It has a beginning, it has a midpoint. And I would like to say that it is endless. It's an endless journey, except Amaka is saying she wants to stop being an entrepreneur. So how do we define transformation, which is another keyword in my work? We can say that transformation occurs when students become active agents in their learning. It will get to a point in the life of Amaka and the few stories we have told, the other people we have talked about in the story, that they themselves will become active participants in their own learning. They are able to leverage on what they already know, what the lecturer has already told them, what the lecturer has already shown them, the places he has taken them to. he's able to send them there with confidence without fear that they will perform or do what they're supposed to do there. So this is another Olu demonstrating what transformation is. The lecturer recognizes potentials and mentors him beyond the classroom. And through this mentorship, we are able to see the transformation which entails applying knowledge to take meaningful action and make change. So change does not come suddenly. It is a journey, like I said in the earlier slide. The lecturer helping to refine his idea provides industry insight and connect him to relevant resources and network. With this mentorship, what happened to Olu? Olu turns his idea into a startup, applying his learning, solving real problems, launching his own business, and then I'd like to add, living a decent life. Do you agree with me? So entrepreneurship is a mindset. It's not just a business. It's very easy to identify problems. By the time if I could use this woman as an example now, and I say, let's identify the problems. This is a presentation. I mean, I like talking too much as teachers. But first us to identify all these problems in this class, we have up to 1,000 problems. But then when we say what is the solution, we start thinking that the solution is outside. Meanwhile, did you know that the solution to the problems in this room also lies in this room? For example, if I pick that space there now, I say it's opening, it's bringing light in, that little space in the black, it's bringing light in, and we need to create a solution for it because it's disrupting our presentation. The first thing we need to do is, what do we have in this room that can cover it up? Someone can say my hair, we don't throw away the item. Someone can say her bag, we don't throw away the item. Someone can say the papers, we don't throw away the item. What do? We experiment, we take action. And that's what entrepreneurship is. By the time we now take action, and someone, after like 2 hours, someone said, but she has a fabric that is black, that would do it better. Then we improve on what is there already. That doesn't say that the first thing that was done was a mistake. It was a mistake, but then we are learning from that mistake. Entrepreneurship is about identifying problems, creating innovative solutions. It is innovation that distinguishes between skills and an entrepreneur and someone who is a skilled craft person. Now, if Owoshika sells furniture, and there are people that sell furniture on the way to Korodu, what's the difference? There's a whole lot of difference, right? Approach to how you get your customers, approach to how you get your materials, approach to how you are creative about the product or the selling. Mentorship, I talked about that earlier for some time. So we are saying that AI, we can leverage on AI to mentor our students and to also transform the life of our students and become change agents in the community, and also help our students to do so. One of the benefits, the 4 benefits, scalability, efficiency, data-driven decisions, and continuous improvement. So I want to focus on the word scalability. That's why the word is a bit bigger. So sometimes we need to automate tasks, and that makes us to leave the small things for AI and take over the things that require real human intelligence and impact. It helps us to focus more on creative and strategic aspects of our job as educators, and for our students to also do the same. So these are the key benefits I'd like to talk about, but then that's not where we are going. How can we use AI to achieve this, to mentor and transform our students? Every year we have, I want to say that the data we get from universities, from students, we can classify it as big data. Am I right? Because it comes every year. But then, how much of personalized learning are we able to do with those data we have? Let me give you an example. You have students for CA and exam. Do you know that from that data you have, you can determine the areas of weaknesses, areas of strength, and how you can mentor each of the students? That brings the case for personalized learning. So this is what I do. I teach ENT 203 somewhere, entrepreneurship, and it is great. The title of this course is Creative and Innovative Entrepreneurship. Creativity and Innovation in Entrepreneurship. Yes, that's the title of the course. And so I used I was supposed to show you the results, but then for data and privacy issues, I don't know if their sisters or their brothers are here, or I don't know. So I can't just put the scores here. I would have shown you the scores I used to generate and to do this activity. But then, by way of showing you, this is the prompt I used. It's very short. So I use this prompt to ask ChatGPT to act as an entrepreneurial mentor, right? And you should use their final assessment score. Did you see it? And I want him to focus on building the creative problem solving skills of students with low performance and give me personalized feedback. Remember, if you don't know about what you are teaching or learning, you cannot get anything good from ChatGPT. It will just be taking you round and round. So for high performance, guide them in applying their creativity to real work problems, offer industry exposure, and encourage them to mentor to others. So this is what I got. It divided the class into three: low performance, mid-range, and high performance, and gave me actionable points on what I can do to do it better. So now, so when people say ChatGPT is easy to use, I used to like it. Because the next thing for me to do is to pick them by name and show ChatGPT the assignments of that person and say, this is the assignment he has done. How do I help this student? Have I assessed this well? How do I help the students get better? Because in my class, I believe that I don't like to teach, I like to impact. Impact means in this presentation, if it is only this prompt you are taking away, I'm happy. You don't have to know everything in my slide. Do you understand? But if it's just the one thing that we will take with you, I know that somebody else will do something that will make you build on it. So this is general. And then it gave me the performance and actionable points. So we can do this, especially people that have big data, to guide us on how we can mentor our students. And because I work in the entrepreneurship space, and because we read other people in the other spaces, in other disciplines, because if you don't convert your own discipline to business, our work as entrepreneurship educators is not going to be impactful. So that's it. So it's a good time to understudy the cons of using AI. We've talked about the advantages, which is numerous. Talked about the advantages, and but there are also their impact on energy. You can read that later. Impact on electronic waste, unequal access. Some people don't have it, and which as researchers should try to see how we can do more research on how this can be. We can provide solutions to things like this. And in the AI literacy, thank you. How many more minutes? 1 minute. I give myself 1 minute. Dr. Etunde, can I give myself 1 minute?
Sure, ma.
Okay, so we have unequal access. The list keeps growing. Okay, please move it forward. I'm sorry, I was just going. Okay, back. So unequal access, the list of the forms of AI keep growing. And then recently I heard that AI is impacting the already, we don't have enough clean water in the world. And for every prompt you do, we were told the amount of water you are wasting because they need water to power their energy bases. So you can read about that and understand more. As you are doing more, as you are prompting more, you are wasting water because they need water to power those. Is it energy bases? What do they call it? Data centers. Data centers. They need power to water to bring the head of the AI down, the machines down. And then it's becoming an environmental negative impact. So then, call to action. We empower our students to move from knowledge to action. Knowing something is not enough, act on it. Act on it. Every class, let them act on something. Let them act on something. Then experiential learning, mentorship, fostering entrepreneurial mindset. We prepare them to build businesses that create value and impact, not actually about buying and selling all the time. AI can help you to little tasks while we focus on real impact. Thank you very much, but you must keep the conversation alive. Good morning.
That was such a wonderful wrap up, and it was such a great presentation. Because I wouldn't want to be biased, since I didn't give any comment on the first presenter speech, I'm just going to be quiet and move to Dr. Eloho. I'm glad I'm seeing you on screen today after seeing you in person last year. Hopefully next year we'll see in person. I remember everybody and the name sticks. Thanks for joining the panel again.
Glad to meet you again. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Catherine Gala. I have been PhD from Unilag, and I think I specialize in management and also international entrepreneurship. Now, this topic is knowledge management is far from real zone, because it talks about student education. Since I've been attending this section with leaders on curriculum, student education, but mine is a bit far from it. Mine is on the practice, because I happen to work in an hotel, a four-star hotel, Switch International, before I came into the academy. And being a four-star hotel, I expected that the database should be up and doing. But when I got there as a human resources manager, I observed that they didn't have proper records about employees they've employed over the period in the organization. Even up to finance, they don't have proper records. So if they're making profit, they're making loss, where are they having problems? On customer services, they don't even have proper records on whether they are meeting the customer's needs or not. So when I got into that particular hotel, the first thing they did was to create a database on both the records. That's from the beginning when they started the job and the operation up to date, which was in 2018, the 5 years. So that was a big task I was giving to him. Now I was able to do that, and I got them up to date, and I gave them the information they need till I left there. And after doing that, we've been using that same knowledge-based creation, the database I created, to update their record up to date. So I happened to now get a job, but my first lecturing position was in Delta State. So where I went there, I said, okay, I happen to do a little research. I said, let me carry out this research I did on the job, practice I did on the job in Lagos. Let me move it to Delta and say, if hotels too are also keeping their records. I picked 5 hotels, and that's why the yellow glass. The yellow glass is in Bayelsa State. So I lectured in Delta State. So I picked the yellow glass, and that was why this research came on board. And it's a research pattern. So first of all, to be able to understand this research very well, we need to understand what knowledge is. We need to understand that knowledge is very strategic. You need to have ideas. You need to have information. You need to know what you're doing. From here, I've listened about curriculum, I've learned about education, I've learned about teaching practices, I've learned so many things, and that is knowledge. Now, if you're working in a firm, in an hotel, they need to have knowledge about the hotel business. What are they doing? What are the services that they give to that hotel? They need to understand it. If they are able to understand it, then they can keep records of what they are doing, because the environment is dynamic. If you set up a hotel and you don't even know where you're having challenges, or where you're growing, at the time you're supposed to improve your businesses, you find that you'll be experiencing loss. And one particular thing you need to understand is that you have competitors. So knowledge is very important. Know where you're failing, know where you're also growing. And one way of doing that is through knowledge management. And it involves systematic processes where you need to create non-information. You need to also validate that information. You need to make presentations in your firm. And you also need to evaluate if you're performing well or not. If you don't do that, then there is a problem. And that is why, even in this workshop, after presentations, there's fallback behind where people make reports. It is from that report you evaluate if what you have presented, what the presenters have presented, they're able to take back home to their various institutions, or they have learned something, and that is coming from evaluation. But in a firm, they don't need to do that. What they need to do, evaluate is, are they improving their operations? Are they growing? Are the customers happy with patronizing them or not? And if there are challenges, what are the customers, their competitors doing that is better than what they are doing? And that is where knowledge management comes into. Now, what are the problems I observe? I observe that most times businesses, they set up business, I open a business, I'm making money. Somebody's out there say, oh, madam is making money. Without even finding out what I'm doing to make money, to grow my business, the person jumps into the business. So before you can even set up a business, before you can rush and open up hotels up and down, you need to understand the knowledge behind that business. What is the person doing that is better than what, or how do you improve on what the person is doing when you set up your hotel? And most times in the hospitality industry, they have a culture of just serving their customers. They don't understand a lot of things on boosting their businesses and improving it. They don't understand the culture of the hospitality industry. All they are focused on is profit, profit, profit. Come and use my hotel, do party, do all kinds of events, and they make money. But there's a culture that grows with hotel business. How do I patronize your product, your hotel? Then when I come back again another time, I want to still use that same hotel. They need to understand the knowledge behind that. So the research goal was to look at 4 dimensions, and to be able to understand that, we need to examine the effect of knowledge acquisition. How do you acquire the knowledge? What method do you use in getting all the information you need about the business? If it's the finance side, what do I need to project in the business? How do I get loan? How do I send source of funding to improve my business in the hotel? Then, if it is customers, where do I get the customers? The Swiss International Hotel that I first worked in, what they did was that they had an arrangement with airline companies in Ikeja. So the moment a plane lands in, there's an agent that tells them there's a hotel accommodation. Lead them go from the airport to the hotel. Because these are people coming in from various countries they may not know. So they are able to acquire customers through that agency relationship we have. But sometimes smaller hotels may not be able to have access to hotel. So there's a need to understand how to acquire information, knowledge, or get ideas on how to build their business. Another thing is knowledge storage, which was what I worked on when I got to the first hotel. You need to store information. You need to record. You need to keep data. Everything about this world is data. If you as an individual, you could you give a biography of yourself. That is data you're giving to somebody. So even in businesses, you must also store information. As you grow in your discipline, as you even getting promoted from one level to the other in your career, you're storing information. The organization you're working on, institution you're working in, is also storing information of your growth. So even in the hotel business, they need to store information. They shouldn't just focus on making money, serving customers. They need to store. Where are they making improvement? Where are they having shortcomings? They need to have those information, those records, which they can fall back on. Then they must also share knowledge. They shouldn't just keep information to themselves. They should be able to share with other hotels. Oh, my business is growing because I look at the event side. People in Delta State, they do a lot of burials and all these things. So with that, most people come and patronize the hotel when it comes to burial ceremony. If you want to grow your business, focus on burial. Or if you wedding, focus on wedding. Those are sharing of information. Sharing information is very important. A workshop like this is meant to share information. I have learned teaching by practice. I have learned curriculum development. I've learned so many things from just attending the workshop. It's information sharing. It is knowledge sharing. It's idea sharing. Then application. How do you apply those knowledge that you have learned? It's very important. You must be able to apply the knowledge. If you learn something and you're not able to apply it in your field, then you have learned nothing. You may not take 100% of what you have learned, but at least apply it in a way that suits you, redefine it, refine it. Use a different approach. You must be able to do that in your organization. And because this work was an empirical research, we were able to develop research questions and hypotheses. And there were two theories that talked on this work, and it was result-based view theory by Barney and knowledge-based theory. Result-based looks at the resources that you have. Are they available? Are they enough to be able to use? If it is employees, do you have enough employees to work on the organization? Do you have the fund? Do you have the vehicles to be able to lift people from the airport to your hotel? Those are our result based. They must be efficient. They must be available. They must be enough for you to. And if there's a need for you to increase it, you need to look at that. And you use the B410, which is must be valuable. It must be thoughtful. It must be. You cannot imitate what others have, and it must also serve you very well. Then the knowledge base. How do you create your knowledge? How do you store your knowledge? How do you share your knowledge? These are two researches that speak to theory that speak to this research. Then, to be able to do that, we develop a conceptual review which looks at knowledge acquisition, storage, sharing, application, to determine each of these dimensions will be able to improve the firm performance, the hospitality industry performance, and even the hotel performance. Methodology was designed, and we use a cross-sectional research design that involves carrying out the research by giving out a questionnaire to be able to get information. And the population actually with 250 employees, which were middle and senior level employees, and also the lower level employees, which were the receptionists, to be able to get data from this research. And the sector focuses on hotel. And the sample size was 150 using the Yamani theory for the revision of sample size. We carried out a sampling technique which involves a multi-stage for focus more on convenience sampling to be able to extract 121 respondents, which was a 78.6% response rate. The research instrument was a structured questionnaire which speaks to the various dimensions of my conceptual review framework, and also to test on if it has an effect on improving the performance of the hotel. Reliability test was done, and it was above 0.7, which was acceptable. Then the result shows each of the dimensions, knowledge acquisition, knowledge storage, knowledge sharing, and knowledge application were all significant at 5.5. They were below 0.5% level of significance. The T-test was done, which was an relationship between the dependent variable and the independent variable were also analyzed, and they were shown to be significant. The summary of the findings shows that knowledge management, which incorporates the 4 dimensions, were significant. And it speaks and aligns with 2 theories with works of literature, Ogumoko et al. 2020 and Olivia et al. 2024. Then in conclusion, it shows that we as human beings must be able to prioritize knowledge initiative to foster a culture of learning. Because when you're working in any industry, you must learn. You must understand the industry you're working in. You must understand the firm. Every firm has a culture. Every business has a culture. The University of Lagos culture is different from Obasanjo and Awolowo culture. But we are still educated, but a different way of doing things. So if you want to force your own way of doing things on another individual, another organization, it may not work. So, and that is why most times when you come into an organization, there is an orientation that is given to you. What is that orientation? Is to be able to bring you up to the level of the culture of that organization. So in hospitality industry, it's the same thing. They have different culture, different way. You can't use that of Sheraton for a small hotel. So you must understand the culture. Then there must be collaboration. You must work in teams. You don't say you're going there to just earn your salary. No. If FM is successful, you are successful. So you must be able to collaborate. And there must be innovation, new ways of doing things. If I am working in a place and I'm doing the same thing year in, year out, with time I get worn out. I feel somehow, oh no, I'm not growing, I'm not learning new things. There's no excitement. Even to wake up, take your bath, dress up to go to the work, you feel so depressed. Why? Because there's no innovative things. And that is why this particular section, which has to do with teaching by design, shows that there are other ways, other methods you can bring in to teach your students to improve your way of teaching. So the same thing with organization. They must bring in new innovative ideas, new things. Then you must leverage knowledge to achieve your objective, which is to what? Improve the performance of the firm, make profits, to be competitive, to be known, to grow. You don't say because A opens an hotel, you must open an hotel. If you open an hotel, then you should be better than A. So you must be able to leverage knowledge very well to be able to gain that. Then you must also improve the operations and efficiency. You don't just go to an hotel and work just because this is the way they are doing it. There are better ways of doing it. When I got there was no record. The employer there just sacked people. The moment you break a cup, it's sacked. You break a cup, it's done. And people were getting depressed. I told him, sir, you don't do this. You don't hurt people's faith. You are demotivating them. If they break something, if it is 1, 2, 3, then you should send out what? A warning, a letter. Then you give another warning. It is not the third warning that you can now make the adjustment. That will motivate them, because when you give them a warning, you have told them once, you give them another warning, you have told them, reminded them. So it is not the third one you can make the adjustment. And if it continues, then you are free to, suspend the person or dismiss, not outrightly deducting their money. And that's why they look for short corners to make money, because when you cut out their money, they will go behind to make money. And things were getting missing in that place, and they didn't have a proper record to be able to account for things. And those were the things knowledge management did. A recommendation, we need to be able to have an impact in any organization we work with. And knowledge is very important in creating that impact. And we also must build a knowledge repository. We must be able to gather data, information, ideas, solve them, share them, and be able to also use those same knowledge to improve the organization practices. If we do that, we'll be able to have a good practice in our various firms where we operate. If it's in education, the education will also put a very good practice in education. And we'll also learn lessons, because when we create a data repository, we learn information, we gain ideas. Where are we failing? Where are we growing? And we're able to work with that. Thank you for mentioning.
Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. I'm sorry if I'm sluggish today. It's just 5 a.m. here. Well, I wanted to say thank you to our presenters. It's really interesting that this is our fifth panel, but people were able to wrap up things from our adult education perspective to entrepreneurship. I thought it's really interesting to hear that being an entrepreneur is a thing of the mind. Thank you so much for that reminder and connections to ChatGPT, Dr. Amal Taiwo, and Dr. Idolo. Thanks for that perspective of hospitality. And that is, again, let me advertise our panel again to tell us that we talk about curriculum and how it manifests in different pragmatic ways. On this note, I would like to open the floor for questions and answers. And maybe, again, this is where people on ground will be able to assign numbers to people that have questions. Dr. Amaut, I will please help us check people that have questions. And there are people joining on Zoom too. I would really appreciate you for joining. Thank you. If you have questions, those of us on Zoom, please type your questions or comments in the question and answer session in the chat box. Thank you. Maybe we can, those that have questions now, how many people do we have? I can't really see people in the room. Our IT person can also help and I can assign the numbers. Thank you. Hi, people. Questions? Okay, I've seen one, and that's number one, behind Sister Shola. Number two, beside Sister Shola. Number three, behind. Àti kò ṣe doctor tàjọ wà ní critical AI nìyẹn.
That's the daughter
She's frozen. You can see she has frozen. Please unfreeze her.
Then Dr. Muturaya is number 4, right?
Yeah, no.
Dr. Muturaya, number 4.
Okay.
I see everybody.
Okay, she didn't raise her hand. She was saying,
But there's somebody else saying for. Okay.
Yeah, that's I was saying the doctor behind, like she was in, was she Incredible Kawani? That's number 3, right?
And then there's a number 4. Well, you can't really see the person. That's the behind somebody else.
Okay, I think number 4 is actually 2 seats after Dr. Muturayo, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we
So let's take the yeah.
so we can get started.
Yeah.
good morning.
Let me get
My first question was to second to talking about making learning from you have to target teachers to understand teachers should act on making sure that students understand it is just one thing. If I want to understand the whole thing. I don't know if you could please explain that argument, the position, in line with the standard of the scheme, in line with what is obtainable by the scheme, the advanced scheme. Teachers have to complete so and so number of topics within a semester or within a term. So how do we reconcile between that and your position? I agree with you, but I also wanted to hear your view on that. And the first presenter, I didn't get your aim. The aim of that research. Please make a reminder.
Okay, thank you. I'll pick my questions first.
Yes, so we can have number 2.
My name is Elizabeth Amsman. Mine is neither a question nor contribution, but appreciation. Thank you so much for the presenters. I've learned new ideas, information, knowledge that I will take back my phone field. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. Number 3.
Those my voice is really so active. We have the last okay, mine is like I first want to appreciate the presenters, and it's good seeing the chair of this panel. Okay, so the question I have is, how do you do personalized learning when you have a very students? Like I take foundation psychology. There I teach students up to 600. How do I do personalized learning? I like the idea of bringing AI into it, looking at the performance, low, high, and medium. So how do I do personalized learning using these charts? Then the second person going to do thought presenting. I've got a secondary school before joining the course. Here the principal actually use if you come late, you will not be paid your day salary, the salary for that day will be removed to be deducted from the main salary. So how can a teacher in that environment, what can he or she do to be more effective? Because it's not easy. Sometimes the teacher does feel like, okay, should be let them, sorry, for those that don't understand Yoruba. Is it for them to remove it? Let them remove it. I'll keep coming in, or I'll keep, teaching the students. They were not effective. It was not helping the teachers at all. So what can we do to schools like that? Or how can we help teachers working under such environments? Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, let's figure out.
Good day.
I really want to appreciate the presenters. Although the first structure I've presented, and my sister, she was about to finish her presentation. So I just look at Dr. Kola's title, and like the goal of ChatGPT and AI. I'm looking to the because that like ChatGPT is also AI. So can we just say the goal of AI tools in personalized learning? Because ChatGPT is embedded in the AI. Then to my second, from your methodology, I saw research design, and the research design stated first section. Can you please just explain the first sectional research design? So that we're able to know maybe it is embedded in descriptive or Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now over to the presenters to respond.
Okay, so thank you. The question that was trying to previous, it said, what is the aim of this research? So just like I explained while I was doing the presentation, this research requires case candidates on how adult education reduce health experience students. That is to tell you that how adult education can help adults who are out of school. Are you getting it now? Necessarily, it might not be adults. We have young ones that are out of school also. So what is the role that adult education plays in giving them age? Are you getting it now? So when you're out of school, it doesn't mean that, okay, you're useless. You don't have things to do for yourself. So that is what this research is based on. So giving them both economical development, introducing professional skills to them, and so on and so forth. So that is the aim of this research. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. I don't know your name, but then you mentioned that, which you rightly said. I said if it's just one thing the students are taking away and holding for life, the teacher should be able to and move out of the class. It's okay for me as a teacher. So I see knowledge in the class, especially in the classroom, in 2 ways. One is knowledge for assessment purpose, and there is knowledge for life and for impact. I believe that knowledge for life is becoming more important than knowledge for assessment. So that's the mindset, that's my own teaching philosophy. That's the mindset I bring to class. And that's why if the only thing I'm able to do is for the student to wear confidence like a cape or a gown, and it doesn't matter to me whether I'm teaching mathematics, English, or French. Because what that is key, they have to write standardized tests. They have to also compete with their mates, with their peers all over the world. There are key skills that are also very important. The job of a teacher is a lifelong journey. And everything about you does the job. So, and then teachers it's a job that you don't have one size that fits all. So look at your classroom. Think of those people who need that knowledge for life. As a matter of fact, let knowledge for life be part of what you do every time. And it doesn't happen by staying on the board. Do you know how I got traffic light knowledge? Did I share? Yes. Used in my slide. Should I share? Yes. Okay. So the last management science conference we did with my boss, I didn't use traffic light colors. I used other colors in my text to emphasize, and I explain why I use different colors in my slide. But then yesterday, I did a task. My boss in the US, you are working remotely, and he sent me a task. So when I did it, he said he hasn't seen the traffic light conditioning, which is a project management term. So this is work from project management. Do you understand what I mean? So project management term. So he said, it was when I was sitting down. The truth is, I didn't get what to do for this inspiration for this presentation. I got it like yesterday. I knew what I wanted to do, but I needed something that would move my audience, that would really connect with my audience. And then he sent the message, Bukola, you have done this, I like it, but then we need to show using traffic lights how we are progressing in the project. And then this fucked up, my project fucked up. I said, hey, traffic light, a mentorship, personalized learning, let's go. And then I turned my theories to this point where people are stuck. And then the story to what we need to do to move, and then the grain to what is the ideal situation. Did you understand it or you didn't? Is it knowledge for life? At least if you didn't remember the formula, you remember the knowledge I have presented to you for life. Assessment is key. And then the same way I've tried to use this as knowledge for life, I can use it to teach formulas. I can use it to teach periodic table. Why is periodic table in different colors? It's for people to be able to envision it and visualize it in a way that can capture whatever you need to do. Even if you need to put your head on upside down, just for them to understand. Some people criticize her, but then I have a friend who uses her dress to teach valley and mountain. People criticize her, but then she wasn't teaching me, but she didn't know that what she said, reporting people that criticize her to me, was what I needed to really understand that concept I've been learning for the past 30 years. I don't know whether you also have those aha moments in conversation that, oh, so this is just last week I was telling somebody that my friend was talking to somebody about SPSS, and something came to me that I didn't get to a few of my lecturers for how long I've been learning SPSS. So we have a lot to do as that's why this is a teaching innovation session. We don't just box ourselves in one space. Research is good, but somebody said it in the session yesterday. I didn't know how many of us were at the session. That the researches we are doing, we are the ones we did it. It hit me hard. And it's true. We cite this, yes, we cite this, we cite that, we cite that. The people that really need it, we are not speaking the language they want to, and they know how to understand.
Qualities of citation.
Thank you, man. I know what that means. I'm quiet now.
No, I did not say. Please continue your conversation.
I answered your question, sir.
You have.
But
I hope that the government will the ministry for education also understand this. You know, sometimes you can have 10, 12 topics with thoughts in the semester or the 10 of just 3 months or so. What I'm saying is that you are afraid of someone working in the private institution, they want you to cover the topics, is the same, the curriculum. And you are the teacher. I said earlier that I agree with your position. Yes. You are saying, okay, you want to even just one thing. And that even just one thing is preventing you from covering all the topics.
I understand.
Out of 12, 7, when you understood it well. Now, how do you balance it? How do you reconcile between having issues with your environments?
I want to ask you a question. Those schemes we are covering, what is it doing on the streets?
No.
No. I will come back to answer you. The schemes we have been covering for all our lives. Dr. Today, the scheme of use does be.
Yeah.
Only use does be. Has it been effective around us? We still see adults who finish eating in district. Just use does be. Just use does be. Just put, and we have the content, don't we? So I understand your space because I also consult for private schools. But then, sir, because I have taught years since before, it is so possible. You see how I came to you? I came to you as somebody who has worn the shoe before. So, and those see content as one big thing that you I still talk to teachers on a daily basis. If I ask you to teach uses of water, maybe the kind of leaders and the kind of experiences I've had over time, I ask you to teach uses of water. And what you do is to take them to 4 sources of water and make them to do 4 things that show they use water. And then, for evidence sake, the only thing I ask for, because I know the work is stressful. The evidence I can ask for, I'm using a very simple example. The evidence I will ask for is that they should just draw the places they went to, notes, and put the dates there. Evidence for who? Who has the evidence? Who needs the evidence? Management, parents, assessors. That's the evidence I will ask for you. So why is your evidence notes on uses of what? Why are you giving me 2 pages of notes? Because we want to cover for you. So which one will work? And which is even more interesting to you? As it, which one is more interesting? And which one will make your students see you in 10 years' time at the airport and say, everybody clear roads. This is the person I want to attend to. Which of them? I hope you get what I'm saying. See, don't let if you are not careful, the way people treat teachers will make you treat yourself badly too. Don't allow it. Nobody rejects results. Your head teacher, no matter how mad he is, if your children like you and they are learning and they are promoting the school, he will leave you later. Am I right?
Yes.
I agree with that.
He will leave you. He will leave you. But leave. In this school, we have somebody that used to say, the former bishop will say, leave him alone, he knows what he's doing. And we all agree with them. Do you understand? Create your space. So I'm a teacher. I have taught all. You can see the way I'm talking. Look, I cannot stop them. I have taught all my life. In everywhere they can call under the tree, I have taught. In the shop, I have taught. That is what God created me to do. So please don't allow anybody to push you behind. See, leave them. Let them be running away from teaching. Very soon, when who is not a teacher here? When you come in to teach your child, I'll be you $500 for 1 hour. Yes. Because you can't find me. So I don't understand what I mean. Be that teacher that can't be found. Okay? There's hope. I'm telling you just the truth. There's hope. So, yeah.
So if you do more practical than
yes. Connect.
Yeah.
Be practical.
yeah.
Connect to real world issues.
Yeah.
Think about things that are happening.
Nice.
Love the children, like we said yesterday. Heal them. Children, if I'm in this school, if you pass, you don't greet me like you. If you greet me like you, as your teacher, like I them on campus. If my student, if you pass, don't greet me. I say, hey. If you greet me, because I'm driving, they are driving. So I listen. They will go and not stay. They will call you because you have your own. They know that they will feel good when they talk to you. But think of those wicked teachers who be encountered. Even on this campus, I see escape one of them. I saw my not because you remember what you went through now. Have I encouraged you? Because I have to make it an encouragement. Focus on your work, focus on the children you are teaching, and let your results, your uniqueness. Thank you. Is that the last question from you? Okay, you were perfect. You were correct, ma'am. You were correct, ma'am. You were correct. Thank you so much for that feedback. Personalized learning, I think have I answered it? Money to doctorate is for you. So personalized learning for a large class. So what I would do, if I have 1,000 students, you don't give data.
Let's be efficient. Oh, okay. You know that should say back.
Yes.
Okay. In our faculty, which are taking advantage, the faculty course.
Okay.
I know they can never get it.
Yeah.
So I have to split because
Good.
like I see that there is like business education we have like two. So now put them with like adult education, science, chemistry education, like that, 2 to 4. So that they'll be able to, if I teach you today, maybe I will teach that the same thing.
Because if I put all of them in the
You can capture that.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Just playing, punching their phones and all that. They can't get
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm leveraging on what she said now. If you have the technology, you have the data, you have the chat GTP, because that's the kernel of my paper, of my opinion paper. Upload your Excel on chat GTP. Tell it to sort and group them. For me, I like to put high flyers together with people who need help. I match them together. Then, like she has just taught me now, if I have the time, I divide them. But then in that division, I want to man help around. They are there already doing the work for me. You understand? They're already doing the work for me. I cannot do the work alone in the 1,000. As a matter of fact, I can also create shepherd and sheep.
Yes.
Yes, I can create team leaders to say you. And then this mindset of I'm the first class 5.10. I would allow it in my class. That your 5.0. If you have 5.0, I'll let you know that you need only 4.5. Do something for this one that has 2 points. And you must, I'm watching you people. There are many, but if you do for only, if you set them up, at least if you ignite it, a few of them will still, that one I mentioned, that one person that will still come out better because of that relationship. Sorry to say, very funny, some of them can still even marry themselves. Not part of your life. So I hope I've said something about it. If you see their scores based on their performance and make sure that people who can help each other, they can hold each other. And start from your culture of I celebrate people who improve more than who are passing every year. Okay. Track those things, man. We got 50 last year. Do you know that right now you got 75? I was excited. Please pick it up. What did you do differently? Yeah, you can't teach this one. If you do it for only 2 people in 1,000, you can't kill yourself now. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Badu. Thank you. Thank you, Ma.
Okay, in support to the question in hand, I happened to lecture in a private investment company. And the curriculum was that we must take a stretch of 12 weeks of lecture, then assignment and test before the examination period. And because in the private university, they assigned a lecturer to take all the whole courses in just one subject area. And you may have up to 4-5 different subjects you'll be teaching. So it makes sense. It weighs you down because if you keep moving from one class to the other, and by the time you look at yourself, you're worn out. So I designed my own course structure with I select the courses I will teach to students. Then there are courses I use as group assignments. There are some I use as strategy assignments. When you put them in group, just give them one topic. You have to go and do. And if you are a very good one, you can even give 3 or 4 topics. Then we share them into different groups. When they finish doing the assignment, come and present. The presentation is an evidence you can talk. So you reduce so much burden from your body when you do that than teaching all the whole courses. Because in private school, they are fond of doing that. Once they recruit you, you are taking 4, 5, 6 different courses, so different levels. What time do you have for your own self and research? So that was when I started, I was just the first semester I was completely gone. I have to strategize. So I said, okay, this course I will teach 6 courses in that curriculum. The remaining one, we have shared with people. No assignment, come and present. Just when I want to set the exams, I let them know in your assignments, the group presentation, there are some questions I will select that will come into exam. Then the ones I taught, there are some that will come into exam to allow them the free way to choose the questions we want to answer. It will help you to be able to focus more on your private and research and all that. For working the secondary schools and the dot salary when you come this, that is very demotivating because the salary itself is not enough. The moment you are deducting salary from you are motivating that person, and it is one day you see the person not coming. And when you deduct salary, you see that person will play sick leave all the time. That sick leave that is taking is to go and look for offers. So the best way, rather than moving the salary, find out why that person is coming. It might be the person is living very, very far. And if you have the means of putting that person, getting an accommodation close by, so that the person can stay there on weekend and go back to the family, it will help the person. Then if it is a challenge the person is going through, because we all have a different life, something might be disturbing the person that is keeping the person. Maybe a member of the family is sick and the person has to go to a hospital, do all kinds of things. When you find that out, you know you don't have to deduct. It is only when you have been able to find out the root cause of why that person is coming late, is when you can find a solution to solving that problem. And if you find out that it's a problem that is affecting the person and you still deduct the salary, you're not motivated. It is only when you find out that the person is just being lazy, then you can do that. And instead of deducting salary, you give warning. Then you give suspension. When you give a staff suspension, it's on his feet. When you give him 1 week suspension and it's deducted, with one, he's on his feet because he knows that the next letter that is coming, exactly that. But when you deduct the salary after all, and I'll go back doing what I'm doing. So you're not motivating that person. But a letter that will speak to that person's performance can change the person. So we as educators must find out the root cause of what is affecting that employee that is making the person perform late. It is only when you have done that you cannot take a decision. But it doesn't everyone know. You will find out that you keep replacing employees all the time because they will find their way out. Others will come in, and even when others come in and they find out that that is the culture of removing money, they will rather go out, they will tell you to deduct the money, they will go out for extra work and will pay them twice what you have. Students. And you can say that. Yes. It's affecting students because when a student gets used to a particular teacher, then the next minute another person is coming. Before they can adjust, another person is coming. It demotivates the students from learning too, because the students, the first thing about learning is that the student grows to have an attachment to you. They understand the way you are teaching. They like to learn from you. Then they cultivate the habits. They look at some little habits you exhibit, and they put that into them. For me, she used to tell me I'm always very angry. I'm the one that always pull out from the hotel. That is my nature. I grew hungry to be in a place before the time. So if I'm going to resume at work by 8, by 7:30, I should be there. Yeah. That is the nature, and that is the discipline I got from there. So it's part of me. Even when she say relax, nothing is happening, I'm so not worried. By 7, I'm ready. I'm waiting for her to take up. Yeah, but improvement. Yes. So that person will also be himself and come in early. It's only if he's living for, and it shouldn't be an everyday thing. Yes, shouldn't. Just once in a while that a person can, and that employer too should also look at it that the situation of lateness is not like other places. So there are some places to do. Then research is a disciplinary research because it looks at the descriptive part of it, the numbers of employees, the levels of employees, the gender. So, and those were used as analysis to the descriptive research. Thank you.
Because the challenge there is that the people you serve are not from the same.
We are not from the same hotel. They were from 5 different hotels. Three different senatorial areas in Bayelsa. So the location also came.
That's why the cross-sectional comes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's such a great session.
Last panel, last session.
It's the last one.
No, not for teaching by design.
Okay, this is the last session.
So we have 5 panels.
It was actually me.
Thank you too. Thank you. I'm motivated.
We are very grateful to everybody. We will not do Mentimeter or sticky notes today. We just got
we forgot everything. Okay, I think we can do something.
It's
Don't
okay.
worry. I'll come up with something now.
No, the session ended 6 minutes ago.
Let me give them kilos now. Let them tell us.
Yeah, but thank you so much. Please let people drop their contact if they want to be part of our community. I will be in touch. We are very grateful.